Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am sharing with you my TBR game rotating decks, where I have Uno cards help me pick my prompts to create part of my monthly TBR. So, in September, it was an okay reading month for me, but let me just tell you how I did on my prompts before we get any further into that. So, I had 3 prompts. In no particular order. I had light novel, so I just had to read a light novel, and for that I said I was going to read My Happy Marriage Volume 1 by Akumi Agitogi. This one is published by Yen Press, rated teen. I am currently reading this right now. So I am on page 100. So technically that passes for my game, because it's either read 100 pages or DNF by the end of the month. I am really enjoying this, but I picked it up pretty late in the month, just a couple days ago, in fact. So I do anticipate I will finish this by the end of the month, but I'm really enjoying it. So that is that one. The next prompt I pulled was bought in 2019. So I just had to read anything that I bought in 2019. And I do have a shelf called Bought in 2019 on Goodreads. And so I decided that I was going to read volume 34 of Haikyuu. This is by Haruichi Furudate, published by Viz, rated teen. I have not yet read this, but because it is a manga, I do foresee that I will be able to get this done by the end of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and count that as a pass. And then my last prompt was to read something paranormal. And so for this one, I had said that I was going to read volume 1 of Strike the Blood, The Right Arm of the Saint by Gakuto Mikumo, illustrations by Manyako, published by Yen on, rated teen. This is a light novel. I have not yet started this. But that being said, I do reserve the right to change up what I am going to read as long as I fulfill the prompt. So because I am enjoying My Happy Marriage so much, I am going to switch out Strike the Blood for My Happy Marriage Volume 2. And the reason that this does fit is because in this world, there are these things called grotesqueries. I think that's what you pronounce them as. They are described as kind of these shapeshifter type of entities. Let me pull up the exact description. Unearthly creatures that had plagued the country. Some of them resembled humans or animals. A few were so twisted they defied description. And still others fluidly changed shape, refusing to settle on a fixed form. These otherworldly entities, also referred to as fiends or spirits, were malicious to humans. So I think that counts for paranormal. Plus, they are unseen to people who are not gifted in this society, including our main characters. Their families have these gifts, and only gifted people are able to see these grotesqueries. And so I am counting that as paranormal, because they do shapeshift, and they are like spirits. So I think that counts. So I'm going to switch out Strike the Blood for volume 2 of My Happy Marriage. And I do think that I'm going to get at least 100 pages of this before the end of the month is done. If not, finish it. Because, like I said, I'm really, really enjoying it. And so, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that I am passing September's round. I I'm feeling pretty good about going into October, but again, I have 2 readathons that I really want to participate in, and so we'll see how I do with my reading, because I have been wanting to read other things. I do feel like my reading mojo is coming back, but I am not like being drawn to what I have put on my TBRs like recently. Hence the reason why I didn't get to my prompt books until really late in the month. But there are several things that have piqued my interest for October. Plus, I think the 2 readathons that I'm participating in are going to help me out a lot with my motivation. So the first readathon I want to participate in is the Camp Crystal Lake readathon. that's being hosted by Barb from Barb's Bookland. I believe that's her channel name. I'll link her announcement video down in the description box below. But this is a team-based readathon where you are put into teams. You can choose which team you want to be a part of, and then you're basically competing against the other teams by reading books and then earning points for them, stealing prompts and things like that. There are also group movies for this one and group books. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm in Camp Sunnydale. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then my friend Bizarre Individual and Marguerite's Manga, they are co-hosting this year's Manga Freak-a-thon. So the Manga Freak-a-thon has been a manga readathon hosted in October for a few years now. And there's usually a bingo board, and you're basically just reading whatever you want, but trying to find the things within what you read from the bingo board. And I always have a really great time participating in the Manga Freak-a-thon, and I'm really looking forward to participating again this year. I will link the announcement video from Bizarre and Marg down in the description box below. And yeah, so I will have a little bit of my TBR for both readathons in this video, but before we do that, let me flip you over to the gameplay for October's round of rotating decks, and I'll be back with you after to share with you what I've chosen for the readathons, the Monochrome Manga Club selections, as well as what I am reading for the prompts that I pull for my rotating decks TBR game. Okay, here is the setup for October's round of rotating decks. You can see that we are still playing with the Jurassic World Dominion deck. I have the packaging here. If we do not get a draw, no, we don't want to draw 4. If we do not get a wild card this time around, I will be changing the deck automatically in November's game. So, just so that you know that ahead of time. But for now, as per usual, I have already shuffled the deck. So I will have my daughter cut the deck so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of this deck. Okay, so let's hope that she cut in a good place. And we will get started. So 3 pulls as per usual, and the first card is, it's a draw 2 red. So she didn't cut in a good place. So that just means that I need to pull 2 cards from the red deck and read both prompts. I'm not going to combine them. But yeah, we're just going to draw right off the top here. So first prompt is a book published last year. So that is in 2021. And oh my goodness, 2 books from the same author. So not only do I have 2 prompts, but I have 3 books for those prompts. She loves me so much. Okay, so second card will be, that is a reverse. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That means that I am going to redo this pull. Woo! Okay, back to pull number 1. That is another reverse, so that doesn't count. Next card is a draw for wild. That means we will be changing the deck, but that also means that I need to pull a punishment card. So, before we change out the deck, I will pull a punishment card, which is this stack right here, and because this one doesn't get shuffled very often, I'm going to go ahead and pull a number card from the stack to let us know which prompt should be used. So only looking for numbers right now. That is a 0. So that just means that I am going to pull the top card. So here we go. I need to read a manga series that's over 10 volumes long, or read 10 volumes or more of a manga, which actually doesn't work out too badly for me considering the Manga Freak-a-thon is happening in October. So that's actually not too bad of a punishment. So 10 plus volumes of one manga series. So yeah, not too bad. I am going to go ahead and pull a new deck, and we will continue with pulls 2 and 3. Okay, we are back with a new deck. So I have decided to go with the Disney Parks deck. This is a new deck that I recently added into my collection. I got this one when we were in Hawaii. So let's go ahead and continue our pulls. But before we do that, I have already shuffled the deck as per usual. So I'm going to have my daughter go ahead and cut the deck again so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of this deck. And let's hope that her cut is much nicer to me than the previous one was. Okay, so we are back. Let's go ahead and pull prompts 2 and 3. So first card is, that is a red 8. And the prompt is a used book. So that just means I have to read a book that I picked up used. So that can either be at a little free library or used bookstore, but it has to be used. And my last prompt, hopefully, will be, that is a yellow 5. And the prompt is something from a Humble Bundle. Again, this also works out great because everything I have on Humble Bundle are digital manga. So again, works out wonderfully for the Manga Freak-a-thon. So that will do it for this month's round of rotating decks. Let me go ahead and pull some books for these prompts, and I will be back with you in a bit to share with you what I have pulled for these selections. Okay, so that was a pretty eventful game. We did end up changing out the deck again. I decided to go ahead and switch out to the Disney Parks Uno deck. Now this is an Uno deck that I picked up at the Aulani where I was staying when we went to Hawaii a couple weeks ago. If you missed my TBR game from September or my Jesus 19 Diaries Vacation Edition, which is basically a vlog of my vacation, definitely check it out because I take you around the hotel property, the Aulani, the Disney Aulani Resort, and I also take you around to all the places that I went. Well, not all, but some of the places I went. I share with you some of the foods I like to eat when I go home and things like that. So definitely check that out, but I thought it would be nice to break out my new deck. And so, yeah. Let's review. So, I got a Draw 4 Wild. I didn't go through all of the things. We're just going to summarize. Draw 4 Wild. So, as much as I think this card is so interesting with everything that's going on it, couldn't it have just been a regular wild card and then I could read whatever I want for it? No. Absolutely not. But I think I jinxed myself when I accidentally said Draw 4 Wild during the gameplay. So, Draw 4 Wild. That means that I have to pull a punishment prompt and change the deck. So, I pull a number card for the deck because the punishment deck doesn't get rotated through as much as the regular decks because I try not to use the punishment deck as much as possible. But I got a 0. So, in my astonishment as to what was happening in my game, I completely forgot that 0 basically means that I don't pick a prompt. That I have to read something, but I don't have to pick a prompt. That kind of doesn't work with the punishment deck because I have to pick a punishment card. that's how my gameplay works. So yeah, this typically means for my game that I don't have to pick a prompt. I can just read whatever I want. But I have to read something if I pull a 0. But I ended up picking a card anyway because it is a punishment pull. So for the punishment pull, I ended up with a manga series, 10 or more volumes. So of the punishment cards that I have in that deck, that one is actually a pretty good one because it will work for the Manga Freak-a-thon. So for this one, I have decided that I am going to read the entirety of Devil's Line. So I have the 14 volumes here. Devil's Line is a vampire manga series. It is by Ryo Hanada, published by Vertical Comics, ages 13 plus. That is teen. This has been a series that has been on my radar for quite a bit. I know my friend Shannon over at Shannon Riddler has been reading this series. I know my friend Justy. I don't even know what his channel name is right now because he just changed it recently. But he used to be Justy Hooked. He's read this. And so I've been really, really interested in reading it. And this is my kick in the butt to finally go ahead and pick up this series. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I know. This is a vampire manga. There's a bit of romance in there. And yes, I'm really looking forward to reading this series. So that's 14 volumes of a manga series. I think that counts. Plus, it will count for the Manga Freak-a-thon. And I should be able to find some of the things from my bingo board in there. So that takes care of my first prompt. The next card I pulled was a red 8. By this time, we had switched out the deck. I believe this is some kind of like Jungle Cruise, maybe? I wish they would say, because down here it says Disney, Disney Pixar, and Avatar. So maybe it's Avatar. I've only seen Avatar, the movie once. You know, the one with the blue people. So yeah, if you know what that is, it's something Disney. Let me know. At first I thought Jungle Cruise because you do have the little lake thing here. But it might be Avatar. I haven't ridden that ride. And obviously it wasn't around when I had gone to Disney World. But yeah, red 8. So for this prompt, I pulled a used book. So that just means anything used, whether it be from a little free library or a thrift books or a used bookstore. For this one, I think I'm going to read Frostbite, the second book in the Vampire Academy series. So I have recently started to watch this series on Peacock, and I've only read the first volume, and I can tell you I was pretty confused right off the bat when I started watching the TV show. So now I'm like, they must have shown stuff from later in the series. So now I'm really, really wanting to read this. I really enjoyed the first one. I've actually read the first one twice, intending on continuing both times and just never did. I think I read the first one most recently this year. So I definitely want to continue, especially because the TV show is on and it's making me really motivated to want to get this series read. And so, yes, this is obviously a used book. I think I picked it up in a little free library. Yes, it does actually have a stamp here that says Little Free Library. I'm just covering it up because there is an address on there as well. But yes, this will be my used book. Then we pulled a yellow 5, and I believe that is from Toy Story. Is there a Toy Story ride? I'm not sure. Amy, if you're watching this, what is this? I know you're big on Disney. I know some Disney, but not a lot. This immediately looked like Toy Story to me, but I'm probably wrong. I haven't actually had a chance to go through the new deck because I had gotten it just so recently and we haven't even played with it. I just shuffled it really good and off we went with this Game. So the next card I pulled was Humble Bundle. And Humble Bundle is a website where they do lots of fundraisers for different causes, and several times a year Kodansha, which is a manga publisher, will offer bundles of manga for a very discounted price that will support some kind of charity. So I've purchased several manga bundles. So for this one, I think I'm going to read Museum. So I have 3 volumes of Museum, which I believe is the entirety of the series. It's by Ryosuke Tomoe, published by Kodansha, and I'm not sure what the age rating is on this because I can't see the back cover. But it seems like it's about a bloodthirsty killer, and the police don't have any clues to his identity, motive, or even who his next victim might be. All they know is that he hides his face behind a macabre frog mask, that his methods are extremely violent. So it just basically sounds like a typical serial killer story, which sounds perfect for the month. So that is what I'm going to be reading for the Humble Bundle prompt. So that takes care of everything as far as the prompts go. Now let me tell you what we are reading for the Monochrome Manga Club. The Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble. And so each month we read 2 first-in-a-series selections, and we are doing 2 series reads currently. So the first of the first-in-a-series reads is going to be Ghost Reaper Girl. This is story and art by Akisa Saike, published by Viz, rated older teen. So this is about a 20-year-old girl who wants to be an actress, but she has violent spontaneous displays of violence. And so things don't work out for her until she meets this guy who offers her what might be the perfect role. Can she become the Ghost Reaper Girl and take down the evil spirits that have escaped from Hades? So I thought that was interesting and perfect for the mood of the month. This one is flipped per the author's request. So if you read in the back, there is a little note explaining that the mangaka had requested it to be published flipped. But yeah, this one also has the perfect Halloween vibes on the back of the cover too. So we will be reading that as our first Volume 1 selection. And then we will also be reading Volume 1 of Set Off of the End, Vampire Reign. Story by Takaya Kagami, art by Yamamoto, storyboards by Daisuke Furuya. This one is published by Viz also and is rated older teen. This is a story about a vampire and human war, I believe. It says Vampires Reign, Humans Revolt. My daughter really, really loves this series. She tried to watch the anime with me and I fell asleep. 1 episode in, I fell asleep. So yeah, it has been a series that I'm really interested in, especially because my daughter loves it so much. But yeah, I want to see if the manga will work out better for me, or maybe now that some time has passed, it will hit a little bit better for me. So I'm interested to see what the manga is like. But that is our second first in a series read. Again, vampires, I think it fits the season well. And then we will continue our series read of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz. Lots of Viz this month. Rated teen. So this is about a boy whose family gets slaughtered, but he finds that his sister is still warm to the touch, but she has turned into a demon. So now he has become a demon slayer in order to protect her, and they are on a mission to find the demon that turned his sister into a demon. And so, yes, I have to say that it took me about 5 volumes to get into this series, but after volume 6, I am like totally invested now. Really looking forward to seeing what's happening with our characters in these next volumes. So that is volume 7 and 8. And then we are continuing our series read of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon by Naoko Takeuchi with volume 7, I believe, of the Eternal Edition. Yes. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Of unfortunately, I'm not really enjoying this read. So this is that ever popular Magical Girl series. So we're just making our way through. And so yeah, that is what we are reading for the Monochrome Manga Club. So I think all of those volumes I should be able to find something for the Manga Freak-a-thon as well. As far as the Camp Crystal Lake Readathon, I had told you that I am part of Camp Sunnydale, so that is the Buffy the Vampire camp. So we do have a group book and a group movie. The group movie is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I'm really excited to watch that again. When I had watched it with my daughter when she was little, the scene at the very end, like during the credits or after, she found hilarious. For some reason, she can't remember that she found that hilarious. She can't even remember the scene. But I'm excited to rewatch that movie with her. And then our group book is Witch Please, Hocus Pocus, and the all-new sequel. This one, there is no author name on the front. It says written by A.W. Jantha, based on screenplay by Mick Garris and Neil Cuthbert, story by David Kirshner and Mark Garris. So this is our group read, so I definitely want to get that done because we do have a certain amount of points that we can gain by reading the group book. Plus, it'll fulfill one of the prompts for my team, which is to read a book about witches. So I will be reading that. We also have a prompt for book set in high school, and I think for that I'm going to read Sailor Moon, because at the end of volume 6, they just gotten into high school. So I believe in volume 7 they will already be in high school. If not, and they're still continuing intermediate, Mamoru is still in high school. So I'm going to go ahead and count that as book set in high school. I know you're probably saying, wait, you've got another book on your TBR that's set in a high school? I do. We will get to that in a little bit. But let me go through some of the other prompts that I have for my team first. So the next prompt is to read a book at night, and pretty much a majority of my reading happens at night because I read every night before bed. So pretty much anything that I don't already have on my TBR for these prompts, I'm going to go ahead and count for that prompt. I already told you I have a book about witches covered. We have a weapon on the cover. So for that one, I'm going to read Bleach, the Omnibus volume, what is this, 12? I think it's 12. Volumes 34, 35, and 36. You can see there is no weapon over here on this front cover. However, there is a weapon on the back here. So Nell is using her Zanpakuto, and that is a sword, which is a weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and count that for a book with a weapon. And then we have one more prompt that I don't think I'm going to fulfill for our team. That's for a strong parental character. If you have any suggestions for that prompt, let me know down in the comments below. I would prefer something that's not contemporary or romance, if at all possible. So let me know if it has like a spooky vibe, paranormal, a haunted house, some kind of mystery, that would be better. So if you have any suggestions for that, let me know. But as of right now, I don't think that I'm going to be completing that prompt. But in light of that, I'm going to go ahead and steal some prompts from another team. So we are able to steal prompts from other teams and gain extra bonus points if we do so. We don't have to complete our own team's prompts in order to steal those prompts. So that is why I don't feel so bad about not doing the strong parental character prompt. But one of the teams that we're competing against has several things that I am looking forward to stealing. So they have a group book and a group movie, and I'm basically just focusing on stealing prompts from one team, and that team is Camp House Dracula. I believe that's what they're called. So their team book is Crave by Tracy Wolf. I believe this is about vampires. And that is all I know, besides the fact that it is available on Kindle Unlimited. And you all know that I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription that I've been trying to use. And so I will be reading that. So I'll get extra bonus points because that is their group book. Their group movie is Van Helsing, and I haven't seen Van Helsing, so I will be watching that as well. As far as their prompts, there are 2 that I would like to steal. So one of those being a book is set in a different country. And so for this one, I'm going to go ahead and continue Solo Leveling. This is the light novel edition, volume 2. This is by Chugong, and it is about a low rank level monster hunter named Jinwoo Sung, who shows up at a job, and everybody thinks that this job is going to be super easy because whenever he shows up, they have to be, considering his level. They get into a situation where they come across a rare double dungeon. Nobody knows that this particular dungeon has 2 dungeons inside, and they have to go ahead and clear it, because otherwise, if they don't, the monsters in that dungeon will come out and wreak havoc on society. So they go ahead and go in, and that second dungeon is much higher level than anybody in the team is capable of clearing, and they get pretty much wiped out. Jinwoo Sung, at the very last moment of his life, suddenly sees this box appear in his mind saying, "Would you like to become a player?" And with nothing to lose, he says yes. And that decision kind of changes his life. He starts playing like this video game in his head and leveling up like you would in any other type of like a monster hunting video game, where you gain XP and you collect rare items that help you out and things like that. It is such a super interesting story. I really, really enjoyed it. We read the first volume of the manhwa for Monochrome Manga Club in September, and so I reread that because it was a reread for me. I already have a Series First Impression video talking about the audiobook, the first volume of this light novel, and the first volume of the manhwa up on my channel. I'll link it down in the description box below in case you're interested, but I'm really, really looking forward to continuing with this series and seeing what Jinwoo Sung gets up to next. So that is what I'm reading to steal the prompt set in a different country. And then the second prompt I'm going to steal is a book that has vampires in it. And obviously, Vampire Academy counts because we've got several different types of vampires in here. So I will be trying to steal those prompts from Camp House Dracula. So I'm really, really excited about everything going on in October. I'm looking forward to all of the spooky movies. Spooky, like Disney level spooky, because that's basically all I can handle. I do have my go-tos to watch during the month, but yes, really, really looking forward to all of the spooky vibes. I really, really enjoy spooky reads in October as well, and I'm looking forward to participating in both the Camp Crystal Lake Readathon and the Manga Freak-a-thon this year. So let me know down in the comments below if you're participating in any readathons in the month of October and which ones they are, or if you're participating in any of the readathons that I'm participating in. I would love to know. If nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a jack-o'-lantern emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.